Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Classic Restos. On last week's show in far north Queensland, and this week I'm about to bring you another sensational event in the far southwest of Victoria. And you're about to see more right after this.
It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au.
Now, this little car show has certainly earned itself some stars and stripes because, well, it's not so little anymore. And the recipe to this tasty automotive dish is quite simple. Just read the ingredients on the back of the pack. Get yourself a lovely seaside town, give it a port and add some water. Throw in some classic vehicles on the simmer and you come up with this. Welcome to the 2018 Portland Classics by the Bay Show and Shine. Portland is a lovely seaside town, established in 1834 and is home to just over 10,500 lucky people, obviously trying to keep this place a secret. And then I come along. Well, this is a return event that has etched itself into the Fletch diary. It has evolved from a small bunch of enthusiasts having formed the Portland Classic Auto Club. It runs on the proven formula of allowing classic cars, utes, vans and bikes to enter. But there is always the unknown, and that is what will turn up and how does it look. Portland heading west might as well just keep going until it hits Adelaide, but this geographic placement works well too, as it gives easy driving for many enthusiasts from many areas to attend. But now for me, it's time to start work and get down by the seaside to bring you this. 1957 Studebaker, a post-war design created by styling giants of Detroit such as Virgil Exner and Raymond Lowry, designing cars in unison, bringing shapes to the people that had never been seen ever before. This was indication to typify where American car styling was heading for the future. And to tell us more, we have Roger. How you doing, buddy?
Very good, thanks, Fletch.
That's the way. Thanks for coming today.
No worries, Fletch.
Your car stands out in the paddock, I have to say.
Yeah, it's 57 and I like the streamlined shape of it, Fletch.
They're on their own, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very unusual.
Just imagine in 1957 here in Australia, with our blessed Holdens getting around in the time and British cars that were on the road and a little bit of American stuff, nothing would have quite looked like this.
No, that's right. This is very advanced for its year. The styling of it would have stood out, that's for sure.
It's amazing where they thought they were all heading with their design, rocket ship inspired, and where it was all going to end up. Who knows? They might have kept on going and started putting wings out the side. It was an era that's never going to be repeated in vehicle manufacturing. But they're thinking, how creative were these people designing cars such as this?
That's right, they were a work of art, a statement, that's for sure, especially with the fins, trying to outdo each other.
Not only do we look at fins and side profile, but the amount of attention that has been put into the interiors of these cars as well. You have to love that fish scale dash. That's got almost like an Art Deco look about it as well.
That's right, from back in the 30s type style.
Is it a nice car to drive?
Yeah, very good, Fletch, on the open road. Around town it's a bit of a handful, but on the open road it's a good cruiser.
The interior looks well appointed as well. I like the back seats as the individual buckets. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, that's right, Fletch. It's really a what they call a family sports car, but it's only really suitable for 2 kids in the back seat.
Fins out back, nice side profile, nice looking car, nice interior. What powers it up front, Roger?
Well, it's got the Studebaker factory supercharged 289 engine. It's the Studebaker engine, and the supercharger gives it 50 extra horsepower. So it really gets up and goes when it's motoring along the highway.
Isn't it interesting that Studebaker had a 289 cubic inch V8 before Ford?
That's right, 57 they introduced them, and I think Ford came along about 1960, something like that.
Yeah. How amazing. The war was on, though, with the engines back in those times. They'd retool just to get 1 cubic inch displacement to outdo the competitor.
That's right, Fletch, and I think Studebaker's answer to that, instead of going towards the bigger motor, they come up with a supercharger idea. So that was come out from the factory, and that's their answer in the horsepower race.
Can you feel it under the right foot? Does it feel okay for the design of 1957? Or does it impress you substantially?
It's got plenty of power when you put your foot down, but it's not like a modern car. It hasn't got the same get up and go, but it still has a lot of power for that year.
Well, we're talking over half a century ago, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right, Fletch, yes.
Roger, lovely meeting up with you. Thanks again for bringing the Studebaker out here today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Fletch.
You're welcome.
My passion for cars began when Nana and Pop bought their new Toyota Crown. It was Nana's, really. She loved that car. We went everywhere in it. My passion now is just the same, even though my cars are a little different. I've still got Nana's car, couldn't part with it. And I reckon if she was here today, she'd be insured with Shannons too.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because Hare and Forbes has the range.
This is one reason I love Shannons. Talk about practicing what they preach. How are you, Leah?
I'm very well, thank you, Fletch.
Well, here we go. Leah, the representative for Shannons, here every year at Portland, and no doubt a lot of other shows as well.
Indeed.
And you have this incredible 1971 XY.
I do, yes. She was my dad's car, and I've been her guardian now for about 5 years, so it's been in our family for 30. And yeah, I'm very proud to get in it and drive it. Very lucky.
Leah, how cool does it look towing the Shannons trailer? That is just, it's a statement in itself, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's quite appropriate. I mean, you know, they put wheels on these things for a reason. Years ago, they were towing caravans, taking people on family holidays. So I think, why not?
Yeah. One stipulation to work for Shannons is you have to have a passion for vehicles, and that's quite true, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I've got about 6 cars in the shed, and I'm very much a Ford girl. So my husband's a Dodge man, so there's no arguments in our house, of course. But
I can't knock him for that.
So, yeah, but I love it. It's a good fun car to drive, and there's just something special about them. You don't have to be a Ford fan to appreciate this sort of thing, and you don't have to be, you know, a Holden fan to appreciate a HK Monaro.
I think when it comes to the classic vehicles, Leah, in this day and age, it's about sharing the love across all brands. And what is nice is if you're out in your Chrysler and a Kingswood comes towards you, both cars wave to each other,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're all in the game for the same reason. It's because we love what we do. And if we all like the same thing, it'd be pretty boring.
Tell us about this particular car. What can you tell us about the history of this 71?
Well, she was built in Hamilton, Victoria. She was originally a Falcon 500 in the beautiful colour of white. And it was done over 30 years ago and obviously made into an XY GT HO replica. Painted in silver pewter, which I think there's only about 5 GTs and 5 GT HOs in this colour. So it's a little bit different. It's a very cool colour. It has a bit of a flick to it. She's 351 Cleveland, 4V, top-loader gearbox, 9-inch. Yep. And, it's fun to drive. Very fun.
She's a Shannons girl, isn't she? Talking about, you know, a walking encyclopedia of the specs.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not a mechanic by any stretch. I need a mechanic as much as the next girl. And, But, you know, about an oil change is about all I can do. But otherwise, she's just, I love it. Yeah. I love it. And it's a special car. It was my dad's car. It wasn't built for him, but yeah, it's a special car. So, yeah.
It's a tug at the heartstrings, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that little bit more special, I suppose. It'll never go anywhere. Hopefully my children will appreciate it. I think we're bringing them up properly. They like cool stuff, so that's good. It's
like that sensational Shannons commercial with the big guy and the Toyota Crown that belonged to his nana.
Yeah.
I don't know, that flicks something inside me that gets me, that commercial, every time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you drive somewhere and people are hanging out the window and waving to you, and my mum has said to me, "Who's that?" And I said, I don't know, Mum. I said, they just love the car. And it does. It just sets off memories for a lot of people, and I mean, the amount of people that come up to you at the Shannons desk and say, "I used to have one of them," or so-and-so had one, and so many of them got written off, sadly, but...
It's showing at these shows as well. Numbers this year, up on last year. The numbers in car clubs are growing as well. And on that note too, if you have anything to do with a car club, a bike club, a truck club, make sure it's listed on the Shannons Club, because then it's there for the world to see as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Shannons will support any motoring event. It doesn't have to be just a show and shine. It's racing, it's off-road rally. It's, you know, Shannons, that's what we do. Yep. And we're happy to do it, and you know what a great job I have. I get to come to car shows and go to races and speak to people about what they love. So I'm pretty lucky, I think.
What wonderful people you are. You do a great job. I look forward to catching up with you every year here at Portland, and see you back next year at 2019. I can't believe I'm saying 2019.
We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, Fletch.
Thanks, Leah.
Cheers.
And as we move through the Department of Style Meisters, how you doing, John?
Very good, thank you, Fletch.
Mate, beautiful. 1957 Thunderbird. Talk about iconic styling people back in the day in the United States. 1957, what an era.
Absolutely. It wasn't a muscle car, it was an absolute, just for cruising, just for cruising up and down the boardwalks, I guess, and, you know, arm out the window. Good stuff.
The Thunderbird, or better known as the Baby Bird, back in 1957, it was the beginning of that long line, that tradition of incredibly designed Thunderbird cars.
Yeah, they're beautiful cars, absolutely.
Now, John, story with this one here. What can you tell us?
Well, I imported it from America. My nephew, Jason Taranto, went on vacation and sourced it for me, and he basically put it in a container and brought it home. He and his mechanic mate, Matt the Spirit, did some changed all the rubbers on it, you know, the brake linings, things like that. And other than that, it's as it is.
Very sweet car in design, aren't they?
It is, beautiful car, yeah, really nice. Photographs very well.
You look at the interior and those seats, everything's kind of compact. It's all there though. It's again, it's one of these cars. This is what is so nice about the American cars. Well, a lot of cars from the 1950s, they took on their own persona in such a different way. We look at brand new cars today and you can see so much similarities throughout the brands. Back in this era, they were really all over the place.
They're all different, all different, People say to me, how do you get in the car? Because it's a little bit squeezy in there, but it's well worth the effort.
And it's the level of appointed quality too. When you look at the door trims and the quality of the vinyl, you look along the dashboard and the design there, the speedo cluster, the steering wheel, every item has had effort put into it.
It has indeed, and there are a lot more options available with this car that I haven't got, like electric windows and, you know, all sorts of stuff.
Now, in 1957, John, tell us the options in terms of engines that were available for the year.
They had this is a 312 V8 or Y block. They had a super Y block. I'm not sure if it's called that, but I know it had more horsepower, and they also had a smaller motor as well.
Right. And this is running the 312.
This is a 312. Yep.
That'll do a nice job.
It does indeed. It's supposed to be 245 horsepower, but which is more than I need.
John, thank you for sharing this incredible 1957 Thunderbird with us today. Sitting here in all its exuberance here, the colour of the paint popping in the sun. What a gorgeous car.
It is indeed. Thank you, Fletch.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Time for a Torana on today's show. 1974 LH, and to tell us more, how you doing, Paul?
Good, Fletch. How are you today, mate?
Good, mate. Good. You having fun?
Yeah, fantastic day. Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Lots of people. Cars, bikes, fantastic.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yep, definitely, mate, definitely.
And also a guy from both ends of the spectrum. He turns up in a Torana and he's got a Ferarri T-Shirt. What's going on there, Paulie?
Yeah, got a 1996 Ferrari 355. couldn't make it here today. I had it here a couple of years ago. Just waiting on some parts from Italy. And yeah, a bit of a change for a 1974 model Torana.
Okay, I've got to ask you. All right, here we go. You got the Ferrari. You've got a 1974 Torana. In terms of the power department, the torque, the punch in the back, what outdoes what?
Torana hands down, but aerodynamics and top end speed, I think, yeah, the Ferrari would probably get it up top end, but you get in a bit of trouble nowadays on the road doing that sort of stuff. So.
Obviously around corners too, right?
Yeah, handling wise, the Ferrari's got better brakes and stuff, but these are great fun. Nice old muscle car.
It's a lot to be said because by comparison, compared to the Ferrari, this car really isn't worth anywhere near what the Ferrari is, but these old girls can just give you so much bang for the buck.
Yeah, a lot more pleasure to drive too, the old cars. I mean, you've actually driven one. Yeah. So a bit more hard work, Armstrong steering and things like that. So,
after you've driven 3 hours, you've got sore arms.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get back to the fair income department now. Paul, you've done a wonderful job here on this Torana. We're back to the era with flared guards, wide tyres. General Motors Holden doing an incredible job back in their day too of shoehorning 5-litre V8s into light-bodied cars such as these. We know the racing history, the accolades, all the top drivers with Holden and how successful they were. The inspiration for you now to have this Torana, it must just mean a lot to you.
Yeah, it is. It's been a long journey, I suppose. I've 16 years I've had the car. Was purchased off eBay. Had a friend check it out in Melbourne, and it ended up being a 6-cylinder SLR. And I've always had them, I suppose, and then just spent the last 10 years, I suppose, restoring it. It's had a couple of different engine configurations in it, but this one will be staying in it for a while because it's just the sheer expense, I suppose. It cost a lot of money to do. And
now, there's always more to a classic car than just the engine, but I think we'll put some emphasis here. Now, you've done some pretty clever stuff here. Run us through some of the specs, size of the engine, the power it's making, and the road that you chose to go down with this particular plant under the hood.
It's a VN Group A 4-bolt engine block. It has a crankshaft rebuilder's crankshaft, so 343 cubes. It's got 4 downdraft 48mm Webbers. It makes 550 brake horsepower. Wow. Solid roller camshaft. Good, reliable, strong engine. It's dry sumped, has a Peterson dry sump system in it.
Now, speaking driveline, gearbox transmission driveline, which way did you go there, Paul?
It uses a GM Performance over-the-counter. It's called a Power Brute Super T10. It's a cast iron case. Fairly close ratio.
Yeah, heavy unit too.
Yeah, pretty heavy unit, but pretty tough. Yep. And it uses a Ford 9-inch housing, but just with billet axles with a Yukon carrier and a True Track. Yeah. Originally I had a Detroit locker in it, but had a few problems with diff bushes, so I went back to the True Track, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Looking at the interior of the car too, stock as a rock. The golf ball material, is that correct, Paul?
Yeah, it's all standard as per Holden 1974, the golf ball material. The seats were done by a local guy in Warrnambool, but he's moved to down to Melbourne now. Just all standard SLR Torana interior as such. A few little modifications to the dashboard. That's it really, a pretty standard Torana issue.
Yep. Good on you, Paul. It's obviously keeping you young, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Fletch.
All right.
And thanks for coming down, and yeah, really enjoyable day.
I love this event. I mean, if you haven't been to Portland, I strongly suggest that you try and get here in 2019. By the bay, it's absolutely gorgeous. Township's just over there. Everything's here that you need. Plenty of accommodation. Just a great place to come for a few days.
Yep. And we've put the weather on today, which is nice. It's fantastic. And it's a good spot. Yeah, if you get the opportunity, come down.
It's funny because it rained last year and I got blamed for that. But when it's sunny, you guys put it on. So thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Fletch.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannons Home and Contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannons.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Hare & Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. And with a range like this, you cannot go wrong. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps. Air compressors and different air tools. Sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House, and they're also open Saturday mornings. Their range of machine tools are workshop tested. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare and Forbes has the range.
With me now, the guy we blame, the president of the Portland Classic Auto Club. How you doing, Craig?
Yeah, fantastic, Fletch.
So, mate, you getting ready for a big day?
Yeah, I reckon it's the weather's funny looking fantastic, and it's going to be good.
Now, I know we're going to be up on last year because already the cars through the gate are up. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, mate, we'll target our 300 this year.
Yep.
Yep.
So, how many years have you been running now?
This is our 5th year.
Yep.
And it just keeps growing and growing every year, so it's fantastic.
Would it have doubled in size in the 5 years?
Yeah, we started off with 101 cars the first year, so we're way above.
Yeah, good. Must make you feel good being the president. You've got a great crew and just watching the club evolve and the show evolve here in Portland.
Yeah, mate, it's the way our members, as I've said earlier, and we're only a small based member club.
Yep.
And the amount of work that our members put in, setting these sort of things up, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Would you be the first club in the history of Portland to evolve to this size?
Oh, for sure, mate. I think we've done that with our first show at 101 cars.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
awesome stuff.
Yeah. No.
And the variety too. Everything's welcome here. That's the beautiful thing too. You don't know what you're going to see.
Yeah, mate. We don't discriminate on anything. We love everything that rolls through the gate.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's your old grandfather's car or something you've spent $1 million on. They're all welcome here, and I think that makes it. People can come in and look at the cars and go, "Yep, I had one of them," or whatever,
Yeah. Craig, an absolute pleasure being invited back here to Portland. Love this place. A venue here by the bay. It's a nice backdrop.
Oh, mate, look at it. You can't go wrong here, and I think that's what wraps the people in too. They come and you're not only looking at great cars and bikes and whatever.
Yeah.
They look out at that ocean, sitting there looking at that ocean all day with our wharf. Fantastic.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. Look, I'll let you get back to it and see you throughout the day. And, of course, back here in 2019.
Yeah, mate. No worries.
Right.
Love to see you.
Thanks, Craig.
Cheers, Fletch.
Well, it's time now for a lounge yacht. How you doing, Ken?
I'm going good, Fletch.
There's nothing like a lounge yacht when they're like a big lounge room.
Exactly.
If you're going to have a lounge yacht, it has to be a comfortable one.
A Cadillac of that.
1960 Cadillac. Ken, where did you find this jewel?
In California. Belonged to a bank manager from Bank of America. And he had it in 1969 to the time I bought it, and has every receipt and in ledger form.
How powerful is that? 1960, and it belonged to a banker. Like back in the United States, that was a high credential to have.
Absolutely. And he what it owed him when he bought it, and what it owed him when he sold it. Every receipt. So, but it's understood, except for a couple of little touch-ups.
And of course, powered by the legendary Cadillac 390 up front.
390 cubes and hydromatic 3-speed with overdrive.
Overdrive transmission, 1960, of course.
Absolutely, and 2 drives. It's got 2 Ds on the indicators, and it's a good cruiser.
And of course, with all this mechanics, it's encapsulated with the Fisher body, which I've got a lot of time for a Fisher body. Fisher body, what a diverse amount of shapes and styles that the Fisher Body Company made. Incredible.
Yeah, they've been over here since 1930s, I think, in Australia, producing bodies for Chev and Oldsmobile and all that sort of thing. So yeah.
Now the inside of the car, that's glamorous too, Ken. That's beautiful. Looks like it's never had a bum on the seat.
The blue looks good against the white. Yeah, that's pretty clean, and it's an awesome car.
A nice car to drive, not too wallowy.
When I first bought it, we had the old conventionals on it. I drove back from Adelaide, and that was pretty wondery. But with the Caucus on it, that's quite good.
Well, some might say they won't go around corners. Well, here's a news flash. They were never designed to. They were straight line runners, and that's what they were meant to do, and they did it incredibly well. If you do give them some heavy duty shocks and you give them the 75 series 225 tyres, the white walls, that does clean them up a little bit. It's surprising how nicely they will go around corners.
Yeah, they're not built for speed, obviously, but they're quite. You can sit 100 k's, no problem at all, and it cruises well.
Yeah. Well, that amount of cubes up front, you'd want to think it'd do 100 k's an hour in a second.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I know what you mean. It's the sort of car where just a little bit of throttle and you sit there, arm on the top of the door, let the world go by. There's just something about driving a Cadillac, isn't there?
Oh, yes, awesome.
Yeah. All right, Ken, thanks for hanging around today. It's been a huge day here at Portland, and people like yourself attribute to making the day as good as it is. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Fletch. Thanks for coming down, and Catch it again.
Thank you. Well, how's that? That's a wrap for this week's episode of Classic Restos here in the delightful Portland, Victoria. Now, if there's one classic vehicle event for your calendar in 2019 in southwest Victoria, I reckon you should make it this one. Check out social media pages for more information. Hope to see you here in 2019. In the meantime, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.